All right, here's the breaking news right now. The alleged K9 cover-up in Savannah, Missouri. Now, the K9 handler, Sergeant Daniel Ziegler, fired after last night's city council meeting. Now, it was just days ago that the Missouri Attorney General's office charged Ziegler with animal abuse. It's a Class A misdemeanor in Missouri, which means at most a year in prison and $2,000 in fines. And now that he's been terminated, he reportedly has 2 weeks to fight it. Let's get back to the reason all this is happening. K9 Horus, right there, left in his handler's vehicle at the end of the shift, Ziegler's vehicle, and then Ziegler discovered Horus more than 12 hours later over the Rainbow Bridge in that hot car. And also, according to the investigation by the Missouri Highway Patrol, the system in the car, which essentially monitors the temperature for the K9 and then opens the windows and honks the horn if it gets too hot in the vehicle, that backup system the investigation revealed had been turned off. Back to the date of June 20th, that horrible day Horus died, a neighbor describing Ziegler as flipping out after he discovered Horus. So then in the report, he called the chief came over, and then Ziegler, the chief, and another person then took Horus from the house to some city-owned land, dug a hole, and put Horus in the ground. No one said a word to the community, though several days later, the chief announced the news, saying, Horus died as a result of complications from being left in a car or after an overnight shift. Ziegler was put on paid administrative leave 11 days later, but let's get back to how all this transpired as far as getting the word out to the public. 2 words, animal advocates. A group of animal advocates say they had to fight to get the information that Horus was even dead, then fight to find out the location of the hole they buried. Then they made a makeshift memorial. Then they got someone to anonymously donate a headstone for Horus. Then Saturday, a service for K9 Horus. All of that had to be done, they say, by them, or it would not have happened at all. Though at last night's city council meeting, a very contentious meeting, I might add, after listening to it, West Ward Alderman Kevin Schneider telling constituents they had a plan in place for all of this, that they were going to put out the information about Horus's death, but didn't do it right away because there was a concern for Sergeant Ziegler's mental health. 4 days later, that there was nothing nefarious, Schneider said, happening. They were just in shock, they said, just like everybody else. Schneider later going on to say most of the things that happened since that day have been part of their plan since the beginning. Animal advocates calling them out on that went back and forth, and they are just not happy with what's happening there, that they feel they had to get the word out first and then have had to do everything since then. The council going into a closed-door meeting, Ziegler terminated. Even with the termination, though, animal advocates say this is just the beginning. I'm going to have more on that with one of the animal advocates from last night's meeting, who was there herself and has been there at every meeting, later on tonight on TikTok at 7 p.m., then Instagram after that. We'll catch you then.